Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and on today's episode of The Hypnotist, I'm joined by a guest hypnotist, and today's guest hypnotist, all the way up from Scotland, we've got Nicola Creen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. So I'm always fascinated to learn about the backstory of people that end up being very influential in this world that we call therapy, hypnotherapy. And sometimes it comes from a place of really being lost or struggling or going through something difficult and then helping others, or sometimes it's just being inspired. So I'm curious to learn more about you, because I know, like me, you speak at a lot of the conferences and that kind of stuff. But I'm curious, where did it all start for you?
The hypnotherapy side of things started, I would say, actually when I was pregnant with my daughter around about 2015. I had already been coaching and heavily involved in the personal development world. I always felt really drawn to hypnotherapy. It was like there was something about it that just really intrigued me. And I had a really traumatic pregnancy and birth. And I actually got myself through that through hypnobirthing. And after that, I coached in I trained in a couple of different things, and again, hypnotherapy came up, and it just wasn't the right person to train with. So I just sort of parked it until 2020, and then life was lifing, to say the least. I had just lost my grandmother, who was my best friend in the world, and a few months after that, while still very much deep in grief, I found out that my dad, who was only 57, had been diagnosed with cancer, and it was looking like he wasn't going to pull through. So I had, at that point, when I had this information, I had just signed up to train with the incredible Freddie Jacqueline. And I am a woman that likes to see things through. I don't like to give up. And I had this sort of inner turmoil of knowing that this training was going to be very powerful. I didn't need to have solid evidence. I just had this real strong gut feeling that this was going to be a game changer. But also I had to face reality. The reality of the situation was that I was at home on my own during COVID with 2 children, homeschooling, and dealing with grief and everything else. So I thought, right, well, how can I resolve this? I know what I'll do. I'll reach out to Freddie. He will understand. I had never spoke to him in my life before. And I just messaged him and said, I have to admit defeat here. I don't think I can do this training. I remember printing off the studying, and it was like that. And I thought, right, oh my God, this is not going to happen. So he said to me, right, well, let's jump on a call. Have 5 minutes. And I remember hiding in my son's the room where he was practicing playing drums and sitting on his drum stool, feeling really bad that I was having to pull out of this training. And Freddie said to me, have you got 5 minutes? And I said, yeah. And he said, right, close your eyes. And he put me under like that. And I'll never forget it, Adam. It was one of those real moments that changed everything. He told me that he obviously was speaking to the subconscious part of my mind, and told me that not only was I going to do it, even under those circumstances, I was going to be effing amazing at it. And I was like, it just, the power of what he created in that moment not only resulted in me, I'm sure I was the first person of all of that cohort across the world to complete everything and submit my group evidence and come out graduating with flying colours against those circumstances, which in itself is amazing. It's like a miracle, right? But everything that unfolded after that, it was just, it's never stopped evolving and ascending and having an amazing ripple effect, because not only has it changed my life, it's changed so many other people's lives as a result of that. So that was the real beginning of me having this superpower.
I think superpower is such an amazing phrase, because that's how I look at hypnosis. Is you're unlocking resources that are clearly there, but just because they're there doesn't mean that people are using them all the time. You know, there's lots of things we know how to do. We know how to ride a bike, but most people aren't riding a bicycle every day. But that ability still exists within us. And there are parts of us that are incredibly confident, incredibly resourceful, but sometimes those things get shut down. And it seems like in that 5-minute chat with Freddie, he brought about some level of certainty, confidence, resources within you. So not only were you able to go through the kind of the grief and the kind of uncertainty of your father, but also take on a difficult intellectual task. And I think that's I love it when people experience it firsthand and they know just how powerful it is, because I think there are not many, but there's a few hypnotherapists that I think don't really believe in what they do. And they're saying the words, but they don't really believe where it comes from. But when you find those hypnotherapists that with every fiber of their being really believe what they do and they believe the power it is, then that itself, I think, amplifies their ability to be a good therapist. And it's wonderful that you experienced that. And I'm looking at this incredible logo behind you on my screen here, the phoenix rising from the flames. Tell us about Phoenix Rising, because I understand that's the name of your brand, your company.
Yeah, it's rebirthed, really. I graduated from all that learning and training and got my certificate 2 weeks before my father passed away. And that was me in the ashes, very much in the ashes still. And I, even though, you know, that it was such a lifeline, because it was solid evidence of something. As a woman that had never experienced that level of pain before, you know, I have had plenty of adversity throughout my whole life, but not to that level all at the one time, bearing in mind, you know, we had COVID and things like that as well. It was all too much. And having experienced that shift, that real profound shift, and solid evidence that was possible, that really lit me up. But I was still very much in the ashes. So I spent doing this work, and I'm sure you'll understand, you know, we're human beings at the end of the day. Life happens to us, and even though we're heart-led and we really have a passion for helping people, we have to be at a certain level ourselves in order to give, you know, well, I believe that I won't give, and I certainly wouldn't dream of charging money unless I felt like I was in a position to come from overflow. So I was not there. I was still very much in grief, and I decided to take some time out. I think it was like a year and a half. Got back into modelling, because you don't really have to think that much about modelling, and decided 2023 that I was at a level where I could give again. I could really give from this place of healing, you know, walking my talk. And so I decided to dip my toe back into therapy and coaching again, and not really thinking, not with any great expectations. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I thought that maybe it would take me some time, and then everything just happened so quickly, Adam. Honestly, it feels like now I'm really just starting to process the madness that has been this last year, because it really, really kicked off like this time last year. As you know, I'm a speaker, so I felt called to getting back onto stages, really feeling called to get this message, wanting to let the whole world know, you know, if I can get through this, so can you, and teach the techniques and the tools. And so I reached out to a few people that I knew were creating some pretty cool stuff in the UK and internationally, and said that I wanted to speak on their stages. And one of them was a man called Steve Hardison, who's known in the States as the ultimate coach. And I just said to him, like, I want to speak on your stage. And he introduced me to a book, and then we done some incredible work together, and nothing has been the same since. So I ended up being in Arizona with him last May, and that completely changed everything. And it was in Phoenix. So when I was in Phoenix, I had such it was a spiritual awakening. It's very difficult to put into words. It was just this knowing, this profound knowing that all of everything that I went through was happening for me, and it created this new level of resilience, understanding, almost like gratitude for all the tough stuff. And I knew with everything, every part of my being, that when I came back to the UK from Phoenix, that nothing was going to be the same again. And I knew that something was being birthed within me, and I didn't know I didn't know what it looked like. I just went with it. When I came back from Phoenix, I just had a day where I was exhausted, and I was like, right, you know, what's happening here? What's this all about? My son, my oldest, who's just turned 18, told me that he wanted to travel all over the world, and I had created everything around being a mum first and foremost. And that was a bit of a wake-up call. I was like, right, okay, well, you know, maybe I should take a step back from speaking and coaching and training to really just home in on this last bit of being his mum at home. And then I was like, no, you know, I didn't do all of that to stop now. And this doesn't make me less than a mum to level up and go all in even further. It makes me more of a mum. He can be more inspired. And then literally minutes later, I had the creation of Phoenix Rising coming through me, and it just literally lit me up. I was like, right, after doing events for over a decade here in Scotland, I just had this inspiration. It was like a light bulb. Right, we're going global with this. We're going global. We're going to let the world know this is what I'm doing. We're going to have speakers from all over the world. People are going to fly in from everywhere. We're going to let everyone know what's possible, regardless of where you've been. You know, that Phoenix rising from the ashes, it doesn't matter where you've been. You can absolutely rise up. And it just lit me up. And I put out the call, and couldn't believe the response that I got. We had people. I still haven't got through all the applications. There was hundreds of people from all over the world. We had people from LA, India, Bali, all over, fly to Glasgow last October. And that was the first of that level that I created on my own. And then I was awarded a couple of weeks ago for that bravery, because it was brave, like doing it. Now when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I actually done that. And it's weird because we're just getting started. So yeah, there's a lot more involved, but that's the brief version.
Yeah, amazing. And I think, it is risky, to do something outside of the comfort zone, to, and I would say courage and bravery is wonderful resources if you make the evaluation that you don't know if it's going to go okay, but you're going to do it anyway. And one of my favorite beliefs is that, whenever you do something like that, you either win or you learn. Like, it either goes to plan or you get some amazing wisdom just by doing it. And I think there's a lot of people that in life are sitting on the sidelines with all these reasons why they can't do something. Oh, I don't know enough yet. I'm not there yet. They're kind of passively watching, but then they don't win or learn. They're just staying where they are, which I think is a real shame. I think the phoenix metaphor, is such a powerful metaphor, because sometimes in therapy practice, a lot of people use the representation of the caterpillar, the cocoon, and the butterfly as kind of like a symbol of transformation. But that's just one thing changing to something else. With the ashes, there's this idea that something has been destroyed. It has nothing, and it can still come back from that. So I would say, like, the phoenix rising is even a more empowering metaphor than the caterpillar, because it shows that there is some real value in difficult times, in adversity, in the trauma sometimes, but getting through that, you become so much more empowered than you were before. When you're working with clients, does that metaphor, is that used with them, or is that just become a representation of your story?
It's both. It's a bit of both. I think that the reason that I get the results that I get and the time that I get them is because I have lived that. Like, I'm not just talking a good game. I've actually been there, and so that hits deeper. You know, there's a deeper level of compassion there, and you're right. I love what you pointed out there, because I have used the butterfly one before. You know, when I became an author, and then this new level again. You know, it did feel like the death of the death of limiting beliefs, the death of thinking that you know that is not possible. I spoke about the ceiling being the new floor, and that was what it was for me. It was like I had, you know, as a result of trauma, being bullied, and different things, I did have these beliefs that were not serving me. That, you know, these limiting beliefs that were keeping me safe, keeping me in this comfort zone. And then, even though I had achieved different things and could demonstrate to clients and potential clients what was possible, I still knew that I was still playing small for what I was capable of doing. And so Phoenix Rising represents to me that, you know, the greatest pain of my life, the most difficult periods of my whole life, if I could rise from those ashes, then what a story, what a way to inspire other people to do the same. And so it's the death of limiting beliefs, it's the death of the old story, it's the death of that old version of yourself. And that we all have an opportunity to recreate ourselves in every given moment. And actually, when you look back at the pain, and I love what you said there as well about you either win or you learn, because I've got that, you know, written down. I've got it in my notes. I've got it all over, because there was, when I created Phoenix Rising, it did ruffle some feathers, and you know, there was very much, I did feel resistance from some people, you know, like, what is she doing? She's never done this to that level before. And it wasn't always met with support, Adam, which was interesting. And it didn't stop me. And I thought, you know, so many people keep themselves in this comfort zone through fear of what other people are going to think, fear of failing, right? That's, I mean, we've all been. And I knew there was serious pressure on my shoulders, and I knew that it could fail. In fact, right at the very start, and I've not spoken about this publicly before, right at the very start of Phoenix Rising, I had everyone in the room to the left-hand side just ready to kick everything off. And on the right-hand side, we still had guests coming into the building. And a man collapsed right in front of me. And I genuinely thought that he could have just died right there and then, right in front of me. And I thought, what did I do in that moment? You know, it was almost like that was such a test for me, you know, because the old me before this Phoenix Rising would have probably burst into tears, cancelled everything, straight into panic mode. And I just remained calm and just went with it. He ended up being fine. And it was like that, another example of Phoenix Rising from the ashes. We didn't stop, we didn't give up, we kept going. And it was like, and I know that happened for a reason. So yeah, it's a great example. I think leading by example is such a powerful way to be, and that's what that represents for me and the people that I work with.
Yeah, and even though the Phoenix Rising kind of metaphor, it doesn't actually deal directly with death, but as you were describing it in that way, using death as the metaphor, I was getting connections with the Egyptian god Osiris. Of, you know, in order to become someone new, you have to die in the previous form of you. And, you know, a lot of people look at, you know, this element of death. I mean, that's a heavy metaphor, but it's kind of like, well, I'm definitely not the person I was 10 years ago. So that version of me doesn't exist. That version of me is dead. I'm someone different now. And it seems like you've been on a journey of death and rebirth and evolution. You know, the old version of you, you're not that version anymore. You're someone new. And each time there's a slightly new version of you. And again, I think that's a really powerful metaphor. We're both speaking at the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference in Dublin, literally a few weeks' time. So if you listen to this and you like what Nicola's saying, definitely get some tickets. We're going to put the link in the show notes so you can check that out. But tell us what you're going to be talking about in Ireland and why people should come along and see you.
So excited about this. You know, it feels like a bit of a 360 moment for me. When I think back to how hypnotherapy's been such a powerful tool for me personally, and then it's enabled me to help change so many lives since then. It's going to be wonderful to be on the stage, sharing the stage with Freddie and people like yourself, and talking about it so passionately and being, being an example of what's possible. And so for me, it's all about confidence. And I think you touched on it earlier on when you were talking about, having that confidence in what you do. It hurts my heart when I see so many incredible therapists out there that are extremely gifted and, their heart's in the right place and they've got so much potential to help so many people, and they don't show up because they're stuck. And what we've spoke about, fear of what people might think, or just thinking that they have to be a certain level, they have to be perfect and all that. And I'm really passionate about, because I've worked with many people, many therapists that want to speak on a stage, for example, and they just are crippled with fear. And then I've managed to go in and work with the subconscious part of the mind to really instill that confidence, to have them do one of the scariest things, speak on stage. So I want to really create a powerful shift in the room, with everyone there, regardless of what they want to create moving forward, and raising their confidence massively, and just eradicating any fear, any blocks that are holding them back. I've got some very powerful tools and techniques that I've used over the years that have just been incredibly powerful. So yeah, just confidence, getting rid of blocks that are holding people back, and yeah.
And I think when it comes to speaking on stage, one of the key things is that fear of judgment, the fear of other people evaluating someone in a harsh way. And I've done loads of conferences, but I felt a little bit of nervousness when I was in the UK hypnosis conference a few months ago, and I was like, where's this coming from? And I think it was because when I was learning hypnotherapy, I went to that conference, and when I was in the audience watching these people, I put them on such a pedestal that in my head, then when I was in that situation, I had this I have a feeling it was some kind of element of, do I deserve to be here? And I think I do, but at the same time, I think that was causing just kind of a little bit of kind of imposter syndrome, or kind of, who am I to be here? And maybe fearing that people that I hold in high regard are judging me. Is that a natural kind of feeling, or is that just the human brain playing tricks on people?
Both. Like, it is absolutely normal, honestly. Like, even though I've been speaking on stages for many, many years, and live to the nation on the radio and things like that, I remember, because I had always spoke on my own stage, so that's different because it's my stage. But when I started leveling up, well before the pandemic, and my speaking, I remember having been invited to this huge event in London, and that's what happened to me. I remember just before it, I was like, oh my God, who am I? And all these business people from all over the world, and there's little me, I had them on a pedestal. But I definitely don't do that anymore. And with the people that I work with now, I encourage them not to. It's natural when you look up to people, but we shouldn't put people on pedestals. It's natural to do that. But what I found is that that's just stories that we tell ourselves in our head. That's all it is, and and feelings are not facts. People are there to learn, and and there will be people that do judge. But this is so interesting. I found this with Phoenix Rising. When I put out the call and I had so many people, like incredible people wanting to speak, and when I decided on who I would have for my speakers, I decided to do some coaching and hypnotherapy with them on the lead up to the event, because even though they were at the top of their game and they were like international keynote speakers and best-selling authors and all the things that somebody would put them on a pedestal, their limiting beliefs and their imposter syndrome was going crazy. Probably maybe 2-3 months before Phoenix Rising. So I'm planning this event, and I'm getting all my main people like having meltdowns, like, what's going on here? What's happening? So that was really interesting, how the human brain works. And it was hypnotherapy that got them through that. I was just like, right, this is what's going to happen. And I would get them to visualize being on the stage and how they would feel. And it was such an interesting process to watch all of that unfold. It's definitely part of it. But what I tell myself and what I teach my clients is that when you actually take yourself out of it, because the brain tries to keep us safe, right? The ego does everything to try and keep us safe. But when you actually come back into your heart space, right? Because we're all heart-led, that's why we do this work. And you remember why you're doing it because people need to hear your story. You're doing it because you want to make a positive difference. And actually, it doesn't matter about what people think about you. It's about your message and the people that you're going to impact and how you're going to help them. That takes the pressure out of it, I think. So I'm surprised that you had that. I'm very surprised that you had that, because you're somebody that I would have had on a pedestal. I think you've done incredibly well, but I love your vulnerability and honesty there, because it shows that it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I think there's, what isn't helpful is to have this kind of bravado and project this kind of invincibility in every single case, because you're right, we're all human, we all have different emotions and those kind of things. But what I like about it is that even though I felt the anxiety, like nothing was going to deter me from doing it. And, I think that element of when you do things outside of the comfort zone expands. And then the same thing that caused anxiety before doesn't, if you do it, however many times, just by doing it, it becomes sensitized to it. So from my perspective, I think that public speaking is one of those things that people find daunting. There's other things, big decisions, relationship goals, all these things that people find fearful in many ways. In your work in confidence, what do you find is the overall theme or the key, broad strategy that can get someone from a place of fear or paralysis or anxiety into that confident state, maybe as a tip or a trick?
I've got loads of answers to that, and I will be talking about that's the value that I will be giving on the stage in Ireland. But if there had to be one thing, I would say that rather than thinking that you have to wait until I feel more confident, I'll wait until I lose like the weight, I'll wait until I've got the perfect relationship, I'll wait until the kids leave home, rather than waiting, for the perfect time. What actually happens is when you feel the fear and you do it anyway, that's when the gift comes. That's when you get the confidence. And it's a skill that anyone can learn. People think that confidence, people don't believe that I at one point had no confidence. People just don't believe that. But that's the facts. At one point I had no confidence. Confidence is a skill that you learn, and you learn it by stepping out the comfort zone. And the people, when people keep themselves stuck through worrying about what other people think, the people that are actually judging are the people that are not in the arena. The people that are sitting on the sidelines, that's the people that make the most noise, and they're not people that you would want to have in your inner circle anyway. I don't think that. I think that if you know who you are, this comes with confidence as well. You know who you are, you know your heart. By rising up, by making a difference, creating an impact, it's going to create judgment and noise from the outside. But if you stay focused, surround yourself with the right people, feel the fear and do it anyway, that's when the gift of confidence comes, and then it just increases to different levels. So it's about not waiting to the right time, trusting that do it anyway, and it's easier said than done. That's why having the right people around you. And again, it's not the amount, it's quality over quantity. It doesn't have to be many people, one or two that have, that you trust, that has done the work. And there's nothing that you cannot be, do, or have. And I mean, I could talk all day about it. Yeah.
And I think it's a really important distinction, because a lot of people are waiting to feel in the right state. They're waiting for the confidence before they do the thing. But actually, if you do the thing and then you get the confidence as the gift, as the reward, well, that makes a lot of sense, because then you've got that growth. And I think you used the phrase bravery at your event. And it's kind of like, well, there must have been some level of anxiety there. Otherwise, you don't need bravery. But you did the thing, and now if you were to do the same event, now your confidence is going to be way higher, because you've got the experience now. You've got the track record of doing it, even if you felt a little bit daunted that first time. And I think for people listening that might be just waiting for more confidence, it's kind of like, consider that the confidence is the prize you get from doing that difficult thing that feels daunting. Might be a good way forward. I know you're going to do a bit of an experience for us, so we'll do that. But just in case someone wants to kind of learn more about you, is there an ideal website for they can go to, or what social medias are you, kind of prevalent on?
Yeah, great question. Good timing as well. I'm just about to, over the next few days, launch a mastermind, just a workshop that anyone can come on and learn more about what I've been talking about with confidence on the 5th of May. The new website, where everything, Phoenix Rising's just feels like just a baby. It's just been born, even though I've been doing this for many years. So we're just creating the brand new website right now, which is it's going to be amazing. But to get in touch right now, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, just Nicola Creen, or Nicola, all lowercase, Nicola Phoenix Rising @gmail.com would be the best way. Or come along to Ireland, come to Dublin at the start of April. It's going to be incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, Ireland is not far away. And for those people interested, I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's irishhypnotherapyconference.ie. And you can see myself, Nicola, and loads of other fantastic guests there as well. So, Nicola, you've got a bit of an experience, whether it's hypnosis or something else, to share with us. So I'll put myself on mute, and then it's over to you.
Okay. For anyone listening and wants to have a feeling of letting things go that are no longer serving you, just take a moment now just to relax and allow yourself to be present in this moment. Just take a nice big deep breath in through your nose, and then slow, controlled release through your mouth. Just feel your shoulders dropping, feel yourself relaxing and going deeper and deeper, enjoying this beautiful feeling of blissful relaxation. Focusing on the darkness behind your eyes, and finding that even if you wanted to open your eyes right now, you couldn't. You're just so relaxed. That's right. Allow yourself just to leave your body just now. Just leave your body as you go higher and higher. I want you to visualize yourself looking down, whether you're sitting on your chair or lying in your bed or your sofa. Just look down at your beautiful body and give thanks for everything that body has done for you up until this point. Feel your heart space expanding with pure unconditional love for you and your body. Feel yourself going higher and higher. Going higher and higher now, right up out of your building, right up. So high now that you're just coming right above planet Earth. And as you look down, all you can see is the beautiful blues of the ocean and the gorgeous greens of the forest. You're just going higher and higher. Well done. As you go higher and feeling lighter, feeling more relaxed, I want you just to picture someone. It could be one person in particular or a number of people that you love dearly, that you love unconditionally. Just look at their face, look at their smiles, look at that unconditional love in their eyes. Feel that love that they feel for you. Feel that love that you feel for them. And just feel your heart expanding. Just breathe that into your heart space right now. trusting you're exactly where you're supposed to be, just in this beautiful present moment, because that's all we really have is this present moment. Just feeling that beautiful energy. And in a moment, as you feel that heart space expanding more and more, you're feeling so blissful, so relaxed right now. We're going to set an intention. We're going to have an experience in a few seconds' time. We're going to instruct the subconscious part of the mind to let anything go that's no longer serving you right now. Anything that you've been holding in your subconscious mind to keep you safe, we're going to thank that part of your mind right now for keeping you safe until this point. Thank it for being there, and instruct it, it's time to let go now. There's a good chance that that part that's been keeping you safe has actually now been keeping you stuck, preventing you from moving forward. And now's the perfect time to let that go. In a few seconds, we're really going to let that go now, making space for all this beautiful new energy to come in, creating this blank canvas, this clear palette, moving forward, ready for all these wonderful new creations just to come in and create all this magic from this brand new space, this phoenix rising from the ashes. Just feel that wonderful feeling of freedom start to come through your whole being right now. Get ready. I want you to see this ball of light right in front of you. You can feel the warmth just hitting off your face, but like the sun, you're going to go straight through this ball of energy, and it's going to cleanse your whole system, your whole being, everything right down to a cellular molecular level. Get ready. When I make this noise, we're going to go through that together. 3, 2, 1. See yourself, visualize yourself going straight through this ball of white energy. Just feel your whole system being cleansed now as we go through this together. Anything that's been holding you back, any old limiting beliefs, any old stories, any old fears, anything, just let it all go now. Just feel it leaving your system right now. Feel that energy just leaving your system right now. As you see yourself rising like that phoenix from the ashes, just rising up, claiming this new life, this incredible life full of miracles and abundance and love and joy and presence and health, everything that you were here to create, everything that you know that you deserve, it's your birthright to experience a life with no limits. We're ready to claim that life right now. Feel that energy. Feel it right now, filling every single part of your being, like down to a cellular, molecular level. From this moment forward, you're stepping in to this new version of yourself, the version of yourself that's always been there, this rebirth, the death of everything that has no longer been serving you. And you feel a sense of freedom like never before. It's time to rise. Time to step up. The world needs to see you. The world needs to hear what you have to say. You matter. You are so worthy. You're so loved and so deserving. Just breathe that into your heart space now. And when you're ready, just come back into the room, back into the now time. Claim that energy.
What a lovely experience. I enjoyed that. Fantastic. Remind us again how people can get hold of you, Nicola.
The best way to get a hold of me is to email me at the new email address, which is nicolaphoenixrising@gmail.com.
nicolaphoenixrising@gmail.com. So we'll put that in the show notes. If you want to drop Nicola an email, you can get hold of her there. Nicola, it's been great to have you on the show, and I guess we'll see each other at Dublin in a few weeks' time.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox. the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.